Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's start our session by reciting Ulumul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Ya, Alright, for this week, we're going to cover our last chapter, right? And then you'll be free to prepare for your final exam. But before you prepare for your final exam, please complete your final part of your final project. Okay. Okay, for the final chapter or the last chapter is HCI, human computer interaction, right? How human react, right, to the system that you have developed, right? This is the basic, right, that you need to know, right? What will be the objective? You need to understand the basic of HCI, understand the useful design of the touchscreen interface for smartphone and tablet, and you need to design for variety of user interface, right, for your project. Okay, for example, design an effective on-screen dialogue for HCI, right? So this is the major topic. Okay, understand HCI, design cognitive style of user, right? And you also need to understand the physical consideration of HCI design and user interface. We have covered in the previous chapter. Dialogue design, right? We have covered many part of design in the previous chapter. Okay, so it's like conclusion for those chapter. Okay, what is HCI? HCI, right? It's like the study of how people interact with computer, like how you react to the screen or to the menu, to the display, and how you interact and how you react, right? And to what extent computer are developed for successful interaction. And some design has failed, some design is successful, right? How, to what extent that we need to consider, right? So you need HCI knowledge to design a successful system. It's not like you put everything on the one page that it might confuse the user. Okay. All right. Design for cognitive style of the individual user, right? So you need to making sure that data makes available in different form. So some people consider or prefer on the table, data on table. Some prefer on the text. Some prefer on the graphic, right? Many people consider on the image, right? And that's how you need to consider. Okay, so not just all of your system are the image button, right, without any text, or graphic, or in table. Right? It depends on some. For the data you need to present in table, right? Some of the display you can display or view in the graphic, right? It depends. Okay, but you need to use all these basics, right, to represent your system. Okay, and data visualization we also have covered in the output, right? So try to visualize your data, right? You can have in table, and you can visual that table as well, right? Some they present the visual only, but some they present on both, right? Because some people could not understand the visual, so they prefer on the table, right? So we can refer to many of the website. That some, I can say most are most for the complicated data, they display both, right? But for the same very simple, you can just visualize those data, right? It depends on which kind of data. All right, any question? Like simple, right? It's like conclusion from what you have covered in the previous chapter. Okay, next, this is the basic consideration, physical consideration for HCI. We have vision, how people see, hearing, right? How people hear, right? Some website they have like music background. Some when you click, there are some sound to make sure that successful. For the error, it's like ends, right? Like window, you have some sound like error, you know, there's error, right? Okay, and touch, right? So this day we are talking about touch, a lot of touch, right? Because we have smartphone is touch screen, right? Okay. For hearing, this day you have like voice over, right? Voice recognition. You can search anything by using voice, right? If you have smart TV, you can like command your TV by using voice, right? Or even you have smart home, you can just turn on the light, turn on the TV by voice, right? That we call voice connection. Okay. So in the future, if you need to design this kind of application, some of your application might be able to display on the TV, right? So make sure you need to embed the voice as well, voice recognition. In the future, voice recognition will be a standard, right? This day is like touch, right? But in the future, you can avoid to include the voice recognition or how you command your application based on the voice, right? Okay, next, interface design objective, right? Objective we have covered in previous chapter. Okay, you need to mesh with the user interface, mesh with the task. If the search, right, you need to have a search. Make user interface efficient, right? Efficient is not does not mean like you include everything on the one page. Efficient mean only significant part of that page to be displayed. Try to minimize, right? Minimize. Okay, improve. You also need to provide some feedback for the user, right? Okay, review feedbacks like I have mentioned again and again, like Lazada, Shopee, you can feedback, right? You can give some comment, right? So it show you, right? It's like you can express something, right? So when people can express, people will be more satisfied on that service. It's not like they are being forced to do something without any feedback, right? So if you can take feedback and you can inform based on amount of feedback we have improved this service. So people will be more satisfied on your system. I mean, like they are a part of 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 the system development, right? That mean you get something from there and improve based on their requirement, right? Okay, so based on this feedback, then you can use that feedback to improve, right? Like you get some data for user, right? User requirement before you design. Okay, any question before we move on? Right. Okay. Next type of interface, right? There are many type of interface. It depends on, again, it depends on your systems. Like Google, their main business is more on the search, right? So they will just have one bar for you to key in, right? For you to key in, okay? And most of the time we have menus, right? Menus bar, right? Some fill in the interface, and some GUI, graphic user interface, right? And web interface. Okay, this is the common interface. Okay, for example, menus, right? Menus, right? If you include menus, like limited choice for user to choose on this menu. If you have Google, right? Google can search anything that you want to find, right? So, like Lazada, they have menu, but you also can search, right? It's like option, both. People can use both. Right? This day, some very successful company like Shopee and Lazada, you can have a menu and you can search as well, right? If you can provide both, that will be much better. Okay, you also can have secondary menu group, right? Into set of feature, like you can categorize, for example, Lazada, if you for children, for babies, for home applicant, for electric, right? That how you organize. It's not like they find something in some category, but they found something else in that category. It's like how you design, right? So you have GUI menu, object menu. This is the command menu, right? So it's like conclusions again. It's like conclusion for you, right? We have covered this in the previous chapter. Okay, any question? Any question? Next, again, designing interface for smartphone and tablets. Right? Again, we have mentioned this day, most of people visiting or using application on the mobile phone, some tablet, right? Few time on PC, right? So to design, you cannot just focus on PC design. So when you open on the phone, or you do not have an apps, right? People need to go to browser and type down. They will have very small screen, right? Different from the laptops, right? Okay. So again, if you can have both, right? If you design on the apps, for example, apps display on phone and apps display on the tablet, there will be difference, right? You need to consider on that design. Okay. In the future, if you take a course like web technology, right, there are many technology that you can use to control the display. For example, you can detect if user open by mobile phone, they can just display this. Right? If they open by tablet, this amount of display will be shown to user. If they open on the PC or laptop, right, they can display everything. Right? There are some technology that you need to learn in future. Right? You will learn this, right, how to control. Okay, and touchscreen allow user, right? Of course, touchscreen, you use touchscreen to touch by figure to interact with the application, right? So there are multitouch, right? This day, for example, we call gesture, right? 3 basic gesture, right, that we are using this day: tapping, swiping, right? Pin pitching, right? Pitching, right? One, for example, you have made one finger, there will be display something else. 2 finger, right? To moving, right? 3 finger to move up. right? And 4-finger is different, right? So how to design, how you design your application, right? You need to consider that. One touch, double click, right? Right click, right? How you consider that? So you need to consider that, right, in the future. But for SAD, just about design, right? In future, if you do your final year project, right, you need to develop the real system. Like even I'm teaching in web application, right? Final project, then need to make a real system, not like a prototype. Right? For SAD, it's like a process of you to learn how to design only. Right? But in future, you need to design the real thing. Right? This basic thing that you need to know. All right. Any question? Any question? No. Okay, no. Right? It's basic, right? It's like conclusion, everything. Okay, next I have present on voice recognitions, right? So voice recognition is everywhere. Right? In the future, even you can command your coffee machine, right, to provide a coffee for you, right? You have smartphone, smart home, right? You have like we have Google Assistant, right? Many assistant is there, right? That connect to the electronic device. You can command and to prepare something. Right? For the Siri is a common thing these days, right? Okay. So in the future, if you want to design, you need to take the consideration of this, right? You cannot run away from this because it will be a common technology, right? Okay. And a lot more in the future, you're going to have like face recognition, like voice recognition is common. Face recognition is like before, for example, when you go to home, you have camera, you does not need a key, right? Your home will be recognize you and will open the door for you. Right? So you does not need to bring any key. Right? It will be very interesting. Right? Okay. Okay, next guideline for dialogue design. Right? So again, I mentioned Google, right? It's like minimal user action, right? Less is more. Right? You need to use this. This is power word. People always refer. Less is more. Meaningful communication and standard operation. Standards like everywhere people know. Right? When you have this considered as a search, right? And a lot more, right? A lot more of the standard that you need to consider to be included in your system. It's not like you create something new, include in your system without standards, right? That may need some time for user to accept. Or people may be, if they are not accept, they will not use your system because it's like some very complicated, right? I found some system they have some improvement, then the system will be very complicated to be used, like some, right? Okay. So please consider on this. Okay, next is feedback. Right? I mentioned the feedback, right? All the system require feedback to monitor and change behavior, right? So some feedback on the rate, star, right? Like Google, you give like 1 star, 2 star, thumb ups, or you can comment, try to minimize. So try to give user a choice, right? Whether by rating or by clicking or leaving the comment or by clicking the image, right? Smile, or unhappy, sad, right? Give them a choice. It's not like they need to write, right? not everyone like to write, right? Okay, some people like to write, some people like to read only, right? Some people like to express their feeling, right? Okay, all right. Next is easy navigation for e-commerce websites, right? For e-commerce website, again, very successful e-commerce website I can consider like Shopee and Lazada, right? Lazada, you can just view and you can add into the chart, right? If you want to pay, you can one click, then it will direct you to the pay menu. It's not like you are in the menu, then you need to trace back and go back into chart, take a few minutes before you can pay, right? It's like when you view the product, you can put in chart, and when you want to pay, one click, it's direct you to the pay, right? So you need to link, mean all of your page, you need to link up and try to minimize the process, right? Try to minimize. Within one click, bring to user where user want to go. It does not need to back, and go again, right? That's not good system, all right? Okay, so we have covered very basics SCI, right? User interface, SCI approach, right? Actually, we have covered in previous chapter. Right? This chapter is like conclusion for the whole chapter that we have covered. And I hope with this basics, right, we get some idea of you how to design, and in future you need to explore more. There are many parameter that you need to consider in the future, right? So this will be a fundamental of the system design, right? In the future, you need to consider more, right? Because technology is changing very fast. All right, any question? I'm gonna stop this record. Any question?